crowd of more than 9,300 will watch to see if the Blue Devils can wrap up the regular season unbeaten at home as they face the Clemson Tigers. This is a must game for Duke, currently tied with North Carolina for first place in the ACC. A win tonight would set up a weekend showdown with the Tar Heels. For Clemson, the standings are the ultimate reflection of this season's frustrations. In his 7th year at Clemson, Cliff Ellis has seen his club struggle to a 10-15 record. Only one victory in conference play this year. That was against Maryland. Dale Davis, a dominant rebounder, one of the best in the nation. He also averages 18 points a game. But to keep Clemson in it tonight, he'll have to play above even that level. Duke has a very balanced attack led by All-American Christian Laettner, averaging nearly 20 points and 10 rebounds a game. He has 17 double-doubles this year. And Mike Krzyzewski, in his 11th season, the winningest coach in Duke history, he's won 254, lost only 107 here in Durham. Mike Patrick along with Jim Valvano. Nice to have you with us for the ACC. This is really a show, Jim, of the elite and the downtrodden this year in the ACC.
How fast it is from the castle to the outhouse. I've traveled that road myself at times. But certainly Cliff Ellis' club last year, their first regular season title. I mean, they were a dynamite club, and it just everything that could possibly go wrong has gone wrong. On the other hand, Mike Krzyzewski just keeps it rolling along in a program that's had success for years and years, from Eddie Cameron, Vic Bobas, you name them, and Mike Krzyzewski has the best record of them all here at Duke.
Since 1986, he's 169-42. A lot of people don't remember the first 3 or 4 years here, not all that terribly successful after his opening season. Clemson has not won here at Cameron Indoor Stadium since 1984. And Duke undefeated at home this year, trying to do it again for the first time really since 1986.
How'd you like that locker room talk that Cliff Ellis had, Mike? You tell him, we can do it, man. Right, we only have one road game left. We can do it. In the back of his head, when his team walks out, he turns to the assistant and says, let's see, we haven't won on the road. They haven't lost on the road. We've won here 3 times in the history of our school in this building. Right? So you say, I'm not sure it's going to happen tonight.
Was there any time during your career that you gave that speech and it had sort of a hollow feeling to it?
Are you kidding me? I kept going over to Chapel Hill, giving his great talk, we can do it, man. And I'd look and say, my goodness, it doesn't look promising. You know, but Clemson and Chapel Hill's never won that.
And yet you had a great record here.
I don't know why. I think it was because so many of these students were from New York and New Jersey. I felt at home. I was 5-5 in this building.
Laettner to jump center against Dale Davis. And we're underway on senior night in Cameron Indoor Stadium.
First thing to look at in terms of Duke is after just a difficult game against Arizona and playing a club they know they've beaten by 29 in their building, is where's the motivation, right? Are they going to be able to get it done early? We'll see.
And the scary part for Clemson is they have not been able to protect the ball well all year long. Andre Beauvain gets the start at a forward. He's 6'1", so really they're playing a 3-guard offense. Jumper outside. That was Bruce, and he missed it.
Is that the kind of year they've had?
The
jump shot was in. It went in, and it came out, and then they missed the layup.
Early running the club for Duke. Clay Buckley and Kubek get a start tonight, and Thomas Hill gets the first 2 for the Blue Devils. Nice speed.
Defensive mix-up, obviously, by Clemson and Thomas Hill, who's been playing outstanding basketball.
This is Jimmy Mason, the freshman point guard out of Southern Pines, North Carolina. He has started 6 this year. Good drive, shot won't go. Davis had a hand on it, but Clay Buckley, one of the seniors, gets the rebound. 2-on-4 break, and Hurley will wait for help. Crowd would love to see Buckley get a basket. And Kubek, who has really started to shoot the 3 a lot better.
He has helped this ball club a great deal in his career, and he's done that. I've seen that a lot of times. Now we got to get Buckley a basket. Everybody's happy. Except the Tigers. They're already down 5-0. Baseline drive stuffed, and here comes Duke again.
Laettner, what a jam! Oh. They're pitching a shutout with 18:22 to go in the half. Christian Laettner may be the most valuable player in this league, and he did that left-handed. Hurley was all over Mason. Backdoor cut, no basket, but a foul. Thomas Hill came over and got a piece of the shooter.
I've said this before, Mike. When you get into Duke as a visiting team, one of your goals is to get to the TV timeout. Really, if you can just get without this place going nuts, then you're happy without using one of your own. Christian Laettner fills the lane. You don't know he's 6'10". Look at this. Left hand protected it. Oh, that's awfully nice. If he was coming out this year, that guy would be a lottery selection.
Ricky Jones at the line trying to get Clemson on the board, and does. Only a 59% free throw shooter. This young man, a graduate student in management. Seeing a lot more of that these days. Kids sticking around playing last year after they've already graduated. Buckley inbounds. It's 7-2 Duke. We always sit around in production meetings and ask what might happen in a game. The thought was, well, maybe Duke could be flat. Doesn't look like they're flat, does it?
You said that, Mike. I said I thought they'd get off and score 9 quick points.
Well, it's 9-2. You're right again. 17:53 to go first half. Clemson's real trouble has been turnovers. Their guards have not protected the ball well at all.
You've got to be a terrific guard to come in as a frosh and play. And then when you do it against a club like Duke, you have to be even better than that.
And what about facing all the point guards in this league?
That's another. This has been no question about it. Look at my man Chris Corciani doing a great job. He's had 19 assists tonight. You got Kenny Anderson. How do you like to be a freshman having against those guys? Bobby Early.
Hardly a day at the beach when Williams was healthy for Maryland. I mean, this was the league of point guards.
He's a 6'9" point guard.
Mulvane gives it up to Bruce. Three won't go. Clemson is cold, the last thing that they needed. Crowd would like to see Buckley get a hoop, leading 9-2 on senior night.
They go inside to him here. They have the stack. He's free.
Laettner fouled from behind, made the shot in addition.
They missed the shot yet, Mike?
I don't think so. 5 for 5. Got to be very disheartening. Steve Harris checks into the ball game. Bruce committed the personal, his first.
It is difficult. Cliff Ellis, coach of the year, had a great season last year.
Sure did.
And expected better this year, but losing Buckingham, didn't have him, and just a tough go early. He started out on the road, which is not the place to start out in the league. Lost a few, and it just got worse.
Tipped the ball way outside. There's the steal by Beauvain. Good hands. This team leads the ACC in steals, in fact.
Unusual stat, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Turn the ball over so much and lead and steal.
Beauvain with a hanger, Laettner with a rebound. Laettner will play a little point guard. Boy, Buckley was open. They got it to him late.
This is it!
Partially blocked.
The ref obviously did not watch the opening ceremonies. He was supposed to call a foul.
Davis had it knocked away on the way up. Now, you think on senior night you get one.
I used to ask the refs to come on up early and take a look at this. Meet the mom and dad.
Early drives. He's fouled on the way in. Personal called on David Young, the junior from Greenville, South Carolina. That's his first.
Buckley's brother played here at Duke, went to 2 Final Fours, and his cousin. You know his cousin went to school? I think it's his cousin. Hey, Bruce Buckley. Yeah.
Uncle.
Oh, Uncle Bruce.
Yes.
Uncle Bruce. Uncle Brucey over in the Tar Heel land.
Carolina Blue. Yeah. 11-2 here with 16:03.
I'm sorry.
And mercifully for Cliff Ellis, the first TV timeout will be coming up soon. And that's Beauvain going to the locker room. Thomas Hill lost it. Scramble on the floor, jump ball situation. Let's see what the possession arrow said. We'll find out when we come back. There's a timeout on the court. 15:58 to go first half. 11-2 Blue Devils. Clemson going 0 for 7 with a pair of free throws, and the Tigers, outmanned from the beginning, are down 11-2.
Mike, it's time to get the bus revved up. You know, it's senior day. The parents are here. The cheerleaders are doing backflips. The band's playing. It's the last home game. Oh, Not the kind of stats you want to look at when you're the visiting coach.
There ought to be a surrender rule, don't you think?
It's shit's like chess. It's like chess.
Buckley remaining in the game, along with Kubek, the two seniors who get the start tonight. Buckley does not see much time. Kubek does. Thomas Hill for three. 14-2. Thomas Hill already has 7.
One of the things early in the season that Thomas Hill was lacking was that outside shot, because he drove to the basket very well. Now he has that too. Duke's ready for another run, I think, Mike.
Nice move.
In this game, I'm talking about, you know, where they always go, the Final Four.
Nice jumper by David Young, Clemson's first field goal after 4.5 minutes, and it's 14-4. Young's really helped him off the bench lately. That's kicked out of bounds by the Clemson Tigers. Duke only shooting 86%.
I always found that when you shot 0%, it was tough to win most of the time. It's like those short putts that never go in.
Especially when the other team shoots 86%. Hurley for 3. It's only the second shot they've missed. Young, the junior out of Greenville, South Carolina, brings it up. Being guarded by Hurley. We'll try to check on Beauvain for you. He went to the locker room. This is Jones, and he fills it up. 14-6. It's got to be difficult for Clemson. The year they've had and come in here playing a team like Duke, they've got to be a little bit dejected and a little bit nervous on top of it.
It is. It's such a difficult task. And, got away with a little foul there, possibly. Just to keep the spirits up, Mike, for a coach.
Sure.
It's one of the more difficult things in coaching.
Duke now played Buckley his first and second. For the Blue Devils, Brian Davis, Clem,
Up, it's hockey. They coming over the boards.
Foul was called on Buckley.
Changing lines here.
Crawford Palmer is in. Antonio Lang is in. McCaffrey checks in for the first time. Brian Davis, number 23, also in for Duke. Boy, Young just having a lot of trouble bringing the ball up against pressure. That's been his story all year.
Not his position.
No.
He can really shoot the ball, though, when he gets free. There you go.
Had it taken away. That's when you feel sorry for a kid, a young man who's playing out of position. Everybody gets down on him, not really his fault. Bad pass that time, thrown away by Grant Hill. Sort of tough to keep up your intensity when you're ahead 14-6, too.
Grant Hill, one of the talented freshmen in the ACC. He and Rodney Rogers jumped right out as two of the stars now and of the future of this league. Probably Rogers, though, I think will be the rookie of the year.
Bruce with a miss. I'd say Rogers already qualifies as a man, wouldn't you?
Oh, see something. He is. And Wake Forest is having a terrific year,
Aren't
too.
they?
And they're ready. They're ready. There's so many teams we'll talk about a little later of teams who are junior-oriented, going to be better next year. As this year, we all just give the trophy to Vegas, just wrap it up and send it right there.
Boy, no kidding. Yeah, send them on to the NBA playoffs where they belong.
Get them in that first round.
That's right. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. 13:29 to go first half. Mike Patrick, Jim Valvano with you. Glad you could join us from the ACC. Duke needs to win tonight to set up that showdown with Carolina over the weekend. Of course, Carolina still has to play Georgia Tech tomorrow night. No day at the beach. And here's a foul as Antonio Lang went up from the baseline.
Tech has already beaten the Heels, so and they're tough in their building. The Thriller Dome, as they call it.
Fouls on Ricky Jones. It's his first. Georgia Tech has been a Jekyll and Hyde team this year.
I think they expected an awful lot of them. Matt Geiger early on we're not really getting what they thought. And, you know, when you sit out a year, that happens because Malcolm Mackey has been a solid inside player. Kenny Anderson has been all that he's supposed to be. And John Barry has been more than anyone expected.
I was also told, I can't really confirm this, but the Geiger was sick, too.
Oh, really?
Did not feel well at all.
He's been playing a little better of late, and they've been playing better.
Eric Burks, another freshman guard, checks in for the first time for Clemson. They're down 15-6. Thomas Hill, leading scorer on the court. He has 7 for the Blue Devils, and here's pressure. Good job by Davis to come back and help out. offensive foul. It is. The charge on Steve Harris, another freshman guard.
Freshmen tend to do that. They don't pull up for the jumper, and Duke in excellent position. Easy call.
Cliff Ellis working his heart out.
They'll be back. They got Buckingham coming next year. Sharon Wright, a 6'10" guy, who Cliff says does a great job on the box. They'll be back.
Davis. Young with a rebound. Good hustle. Burks to bring it up against McCaffrey. Have not gotten the ball to Dale Davis except one time. Here's the steal by McCaffrey. That is the season in a nutshell for the Tigers.
There it is, by yourself. What you really call in tennis, that great term, the unforced error. There wasn't that much pressure on Burks that time. He just mishandled it.
17-6. Blue Devils trying to go undefeated at home.
Incidentally, my old school, NC State, one more game they win, they go undefeated at home.
They've done a terrific job. Corciani and Monroe, just unbelievable.
If I had known about the floor, bring out the floor. Les Robinson brought the wood out and beat everybody. He's done a great job, Les Robinson. And look at that. There are the standings. And check it out. Now, State's got another win, I believe. They beat Maryland, gave him win number 8. So you're looking at, well, they're probably going to wrap up the 3rd spot. And Carolina Duke, obviously. Duke wins this one. Carolina beats Tech. And you're looking at a showdown in Chapel Hill.
Last foul was on Brian Davis. See who picks this one up. Crawford Palmer gets his first. Well, Corciani has been a special player, as has Monroe. I mean, you got 2 gems when you found those guys.
I'll tell you, they do make you look pretty good.
Lang ahead of the pack. Great block from behind by Young. And then a blocking foul called on Palmer as he tried to draw the charge.
And Mike almost got a technical there. Very close. I thought that was a good call. I think what Mike was upset about was this particular call. Is that he felt might have been a foul. He didn't really see it. Didn't look like the body hit. But that call is a block.
Boy, what an effort by Young to block that shot. 11:58 to go in the half. Duke up 17-6. Back at Duke, where the Blue Devils have a 17-6 lead. This is what they have done in the last 5 years. 4 Final Fours, second only to UNLV. I mean, this is like, you know, UCLA of old. 4 Final Fours in 5 years.
And as we said before, Mike and I were talking about it, Mike Krzyzewski has done a great job at a great program. I mean, he's the winningest coach when they've got guys. Like we mentioned, people may not remember Eddie Cameron. They certainly do. Vic Bubas and Bill Foster, my old coach, who did a great job. Mike came and just built on a strong program.
No seniors on this club as far as starters. And as you mentioned earlier, junior-oriented teams in a lot of places that will bring back tremendous clubs next year. Indiana for one.
Indiana's terrific, and they got a great recruit coming in. UCLA is as talented as any team I've seen this year. They got them all back again.
Colby Brown in for the first time, gets a bucket, 17-8. Of course, UCLA was the beneficiary of UNLV getting in trouble, losing a couple of those prize guys.
Nate O'Bannon and Sean Tarver. Imagine if they had gone to Vegas and Vegas was not in a difficulty. We might have seen a little UCLA run.
Hill inside the line, 19-8. Grant Hill has his first 2 points of the night. Burks playing the point right now. McCaffrey on him. Steve Harris, nice move, got it off to Brown. Tried to use the glass. Rebounded to Brian Davis. Hill goes to Palmer. Knocked out of bounds. Leitner and Hurley will check back into the ball game. And Palmer and Antonio Lang will come out.
Dale Davis checks in for the Tigers.
Clemson at least not 0 for 7 anymore, but they are 3 for 14, and Duke is out of the 80s back to a more lifelike 60%. Leitner. Short. Davis, who was #1 in the ACC, 9th in the country in rebounding, came down with that. Not your typical Dale Davis rip it off the backboard rebound. Hurley all over. And here's Hurley. 3-on-0. Leitner will get the jam. And they're just killing him at the guard.
Now that is not an unforced error. That was textbook defense by Bobby Hurley, getting his hand in the lane when the young man tried to make a crossover dribble. That's great defense.
6th turnover. And you can just see the frustration on Dale Davis.
Nice
referee almost got picked off.
Quick head fake by the ref.
Burks can't hit it. Hill tried to reverse it, had it partially blocked. We got a foul underneath.
Bobby Hurley plays outstanding defense. Now watch him right here. Now watch he's doing it. Get ready. And there's that front change there. And he gets the right hand in. And that's the way you're supposed to do it right out of camp. That's right out of camp. Station 3 in basketball camp. Teaching defense.
Hurley set up the layup, and now Hill will go to the line. It's already 21-8 Duke. 9:35 to go first half. Biggest lead of the game, and increases by 1.
A lot of people say that Bobby's brother Danny might even be better than him. He's saying he's playing awfully good basketball. And his dad's just a great coach. He really is.
You always have somebody, it seems, like Hurley here at Duke. Somebody that looks like they wouldn't hurt a fly.
And you ever notice how the coaches' sons are always, you know, smart? When you like just see one coach's son and you said the guy knows nothing about the game.
That's right. Shatter the image. Young to Brown, nice pass, and Colby Brown with a finger roll. 22-10. Colby Brown has 4 off the bench. He had been starting for Cliff Ellis, who was searching for a combination that would work. But without Buckingham and Tyson, I don't think the combination was really there. Touch foul call away from the basket.
Clemson foul on number 10, Jimmy Mason, his first, team 6.
Called on Mason, his first.
Kubek returns for the Blue Devils.
Davis will inbound, gets it to Leitner. Well, Leitner's had one of those dream seasons, and I don't think he's gotten the publicity he deserves for it. He was 17 double-doubles.
You're 100% right. When he first came in the league, I said it reminded me of Mark Allery. You know, with the nice jump shot facing, he can pass, he can rebound, but he's bigger than that. And you don't realize that he's a 6'10 player who does those things.
Now he's starting to remind a lot of people of Danny Ferry.
Yep.
That was Hurley with a 3. It is 25-10. Young will try the 3 and get it.
He can shoot it. He hit 8 against Wake Forest earlier in the year.
Got 34 off the bench in that game, the most ever by a reserve in a Clemson uniform. Kubek for 3.
Clemson did last time. Let's see if they do it again. They spread the court a little bit, trying to get a little penetration, and then dish off for jumpers. Yep, they're looking at it again.
It's a good idea the way Duke plays defense, isn't it?
Usually, though, you do that at the beginning of the game. You might start that way to try to...
All good ideas can come to an end if you are out-talented, and Hurley had it knocked out of his hand. Timeout on the court, 7:47 to go first half. Duke in control over Clemson, 25-13.
Damon Bailey faces Steve Smith. King Rice meets Kenny Anderson. And Brian Williams leads Arizona against Oregon State. A star-studded triple-header Thursday night live on ESPN.
7:47 to go first half. Duke 25, Clemson 13. And as if the Blue Devils didn't have enough, with almost everybody coming back, they have this young man coming in.
6'11" from Huntington Beach, Cherokee Parks. He's got a name like a star. Now watch this. He reminds you of somebody that they used to have at UCLA at one time, driving that baseline and then blocking a shot. A lot of people say the best since Bill Walton. And now he says, yep, all behind the back. And he comes here with everything else they have.
Yeah, tough to feel sorry for Mike Krzyzewski, isn't it?
You know, people talk about Mike possibly leaving here. There's once with the Celtics, obviously, last year. A lot of people talk about possibility of Digger Phelps ever, you know, step down at Notre Dame, that Mike being from Chicago. But think about it. Wouldn't it be, how do you leave what he's done here? I just don't think he will, be honest with you.
I hope he stays. I think he's great for this place, great for the conference, everything else. Kubek hits the free throw. Kubek came to Duke with a reputation as a great shooter. He has not been that his entire career. Shot 34% from three-point range. But this year, he's over 40% from three-point range. And I think one thing he's really given his club, he's come off the bench and played real tough defense.
He's worked very, very hard at his game. And I think that has shown in his senior season.
5 points tonight, 27-13. This is Harris, another one of the freshman guards. They try to spread the court again, and the reach-in foul will be called on Thomas Hill. You know, just when I said, well, this looks like a pretty good idea, they turned the ball over and it turned into 2 Duke points. But I think Cliff Ellis doing everything he can to try to give his club a chance.
Right. One of the problems, though, is Dale Davis just doesn't touch the ball enough.
Yeah.
He is by far your most effective player. He's been a big-time player here, but it shows you how much he misses Eldon Campbell also. He just doesn't get the ball enough to do the things he needs to do.
Foul was called on Davis instead of Hill, his second. No, you're right. I mean, here's a guy that averages 18 points and 12 rebounds a game. He scares everybody else to death, and he's standing 17 feet away from the bucket. Of course, when he does go inside against other defenses, he's double and triple team. Young with a runner. Got it. 27-15. Young has 7 off the bench.
Incidentally, I think this is the way you should play Vegas if you are trying to beat him instead of just stay with him.
Now, you said you played him that way.
Yeah, last year in Vegas, we put our entire offense above the foul line extended, and then we didn't battle them because they're going to deny everything. We drove on the guy who was guarding us, and we let Chris Corgiani have the ball a lot, and at the half, it's a 2-point game. Tied with 5 minutes to play. And then I said, I started to coach, and we went, boom, that was it.
Well, going head-to-head with those guys is, you can forget it.
I think it's really interesting what's happened in basketball in the country, other than the Big East. I don't think they've realized that games are high-scoring now. But when the clock and the three-point shot first came in, no one really utilized it. Then all of a sudden, everybody's gone to it, a la Ricky Pitino.
Yeah.
Get it up and utilize the three. But no one yet has tried to play Vegas the old way, the old-fashioned way. Hold the ball for 35 seconds. You know, make it a shorter game, and someone is going to try and do that.
8 points and 3 rebounds for Leitner.
Petey Carrill tried that at Princeton, but without the talent necessary to accomplish it.
Lost on the way, almost put in by Steve Harris as he got it back in midair, draws the foul from Kubek. First on Greg. Tomorrow coming up, number 5 Indiana, a underclassmen-dominated team against Michigan State. That's at 7 o'clock Eastern. Then the big one in the ACC, number 4 North Carolina against Georgia Tech. They need the win too to stay even with Duke. And then number 7 Arizona against Oregon Tech. That is Oregon State, excuse me. That's an 11:30 Eastern time. 3 pretty good games coming your way tomorrow night. Harris. Clemson has always had poor free throw shooting teams for some reason. Harris only shooting 47%.
Isn't it amazing how certain teams do that? You know, immediately Syracuse comes to mind.
Georgetown.
Yeah. And yet North Carolina, Duke has always been outstanding from the free throw line.
Hill for 3. Well, Duke has at least gone cold from long range. Otherwise, this score could be way out of hand.
Yeah, the place isn't going nuts. It's not really a Duke crowd right now. It's kind of like a little scrimmage out here.
Dale Davis has not scored in this game. I don't think he's had the ball on the offensive end of the court more than once, Jim. Here's a 3. Young drills that one, and Young is keeping Clemson in the game. They're down 29-18. He has 10 of the 18.
Now we see Clemson go to zone. Whenever you go zone, I'm telling you, give up so many three-point shots against the zone.
Leitner baseline. Well, it's nothing he can't do.
It's that mid-range jumper.
Leitner has 10. The lead is back to 13. Brown looked for Davis, couldn't find him, kicks it back outside instead. Now Davis going for the rebound, lost it out of bounds.
You don't have to do the play-by-play. The Duke student bodies do it. You hear that? They're going bounce, bounce, pass, shot,
miss. First time I saw Dale Davis in a game when he was a freshman, I said, goodness gracious, this guy is tough. And he's proven to be a brilliant rebounder. What kind of NBA future do you think he would have, Jim?
You know, this year has put a question mark on it. Last year, everybody felt it was a sure thing, the epitome of the power forward. You know, he's going to get it on the glass, he's strong. But now, all of a sudden, this year, we've seen some of the weaknesses. You know, when he does get the basketball, he can't get his own shot when people double down. And it's been a tough and frustrating year for him. You know, he just hasn't gotten it that much. Finally gets it, and see, we brought it. Bad habit. You can't bring it down there. He did, and those kinds of things have been happening. But he still has. The one thing we all can't teach in this game is talent. He's got it. And so, you know, when you get in the NBA type of situation, all you do is play basketball.
That's right.
And you get, hey, one guy guards you and one guy only. So I still think it's there. He's going to have to show it a lot in some postseason things.
First point of the night for Davis with 5:25 to go in the half. 2 rebounds on the night. Missed it. Kubek with a rebound. 31-19. Hurley ahead to McCaffrey. Leitner was triple teamed, ill-advised pass. Hill gets it back. Kubek tries the reverse. Certainly shot won't go, but he drew the foul.
You know it's senior day when you're doing those things. That was not the old drive baseline, jump stop, pump fake, right? That's what you're taught to do. Take it baseline, right? Stop with both feet, pump fake. But he says, hey, I'm a senior. I don't have many more of these opportunities.
He will get 2. Kubek, outstanding free throw shooter, low 80s. That's why I always thought he would shoot the threes better.
He had a period, I think, what happened. I know it happened a lot of times, a couple of times when we played him, is he was brought in to shoot that shot.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's so much pressure on him. We would play, you know, well, a junk guy would play. We'd play triangle and 2. We'd leave him alone. And if you miss a couple, it's hard. Nice pass.
Kubek to Leitner, missed it with the left hand. Double pump, fouled by Brown.
See, the first thing that Christian Leitner did is he left the ball up there. He did bring it down after the fake, but he left it up top so no one could strip it.
Brown picks up his second personal and even 5 minutes on the clock.
Nice steal, but you're not supposed to steal it there.
Nice
Goes up
pass.
with the left, and you see when he gets it, see he leaves it up there? Ah, you see that little fake up there is what allows you to get the guy off his feet and also you don't get stripped by the guards.
10 points on the night for Leitner. Number 14 all-time scorer, number 11 all-time rebounder. And a junior, so he'll edge up that letter with every game.
But I can't believe winning as many games as Duke has this year, their ranking, and know that when you go to practice next October, they're all back.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all back. Just when you thought it was safe.
Plus Cherokee.
They're all back.
Once again, pressure. This is Jimmy Mason, the freshman, having trouble getting rid of it. Early all over him. Knocked away. The steal by Grant Hill. He'll take it in against Young. Grant Hill, fine athlete. Great bloodlines with Calvin Hill.
He doesn't get knocked down quite as much as his old man had to.
35-19. Stripped by Leitner. Blue Devils can't run this time. Kubek for 3. Davis had it in his hands, lost it out of bounds, but it is out to Clemson. Buckley will come back in the ball game, along with Donnell Bruce, who is a streaky outside shooter for the Tigers. Leitner gets a well-deserved rest.
Just so active, Duke, defensively with their hands. Everybody knows you play defense with your feet, but the more active your hands are, the more those steals and strips that you get.
Levine is back in at the point, and the crowd really getting. This is the most inventive crowd you've ever seen in your life.
Tell me about it. I tell you.
Travel.
The crowd gets that turnover. There's no doubt about it. They caused the turnover.
35-19. Blue Devils in control with 3:37 to go first half. We'll be back in a moment.
Coming up at halftime, we'll have scores and highlights, including Oklahoma State and Kansas. It's the Cowboys by 8 points in the second half, but Byron Houston does have 4 fouls, so some hope for the Huskers. Let's go back to the ACC.
3:37 to go in the first half. What pops up first on the statistics? The turnover story. Clemson with 9, Duke only with 2, but points off turnovers, Duke has 8 points.
That's always the key stat. Not how many turnovers you do cause, but how many points do you get off those turnovers. And since Duke has caused them really in the back court, it's been just layup lines right afterwards.
35-19. Grant Hill cross-court pass. Nice save by McCaffrey.
I don't think you can play straight zone anymore with a three-point line. I think you have to play some kind of trick defense. I just really believe you're going to get buried. The longer you play this, you're going to give up just that shot.
McCaffrey missed a 3, and you get a lot of long rebounds with that, and you're not in great position to block out anyhow.
That's the other point, when you're going to play it, and then when you push the defense out to take it, we just saw the whole thing there.
Yep.
You get the high post jump shot. Stop playing zone. Why does everybody listen to people up in the booth?
Well, we finally got someone up here who knows what he's saying. 37-19 with 2:39 to go. You did run an awful lot of trick defenses, and they always seem to work.
Yeah, I'm saying, don't get me wrong, I love zone, but I just think what you need to do because of the rules is you must guard the people who are going to hurt you in the zone. You got to get out on them. Let the other guys shoot.
Young short on his jumper. Hill with a rebound. Crowd cheers every time Buckley touches it or gets in the neighborhood. Hurley. No look, no bucket.
Billy McCaffrey was there. He's right there, wide open for that 3. He missed the last one. He wants it again.
1:55 to go in a fast-moving first half. Harris gives it up. Young with the jumper. Boy, Clemson has gotten no second shots either, period. And usually Davis is doing a job in there because he's been a heck of an offensive rebounder. Well, we're getting ready for a championship week. 5 conference champions crowned the first day. Saturday, March 2nd, starts at noon Eastern. The Big South and the Patriot League. The Southland at 4. Then Saturday night, Mid-Eastern Athletic at 7:30, the Northeast, and then Utah against Brigham Young. That's at midnight Eastern.
Something like 68 hours or so. And I've got my sleeping bag, and I'm going to be there for all of it. I'm going to be there the whole championship week.
You and Dick and John and the whole gang will be in the studio. And I'll be home watching.
Make sure you catch that midnight one.
Oh, yeah. 37-19, Blue Devils have controlled from the outset. Leitner unselfishly low to Hill. Might have been a little overpassing, maybe.
But very interesting. They were working on something I haven't seen them do before. That was against the zone, and they were working on a little picking offense there. They actually, you could see them set it up. They had Leitner come and set a screen. They ran a pick and roll against the zone, and then Hill did a great job of sealing down low. I mean, they were specifically looking for that play. Either McCaffrey coming around a double, or they were looking at, there was a pick and roll against the zone.
Chris Fowler coming up at halftime. All the scores and highlights, everything that's going on in college basketball. The last foul, by the way, was on David Young. That's his 3rd. And he has been Clemson's offense off the bench in the first half. Free throw good again by Hill. Young with 10 of their 19 points.
I was going to say, Mike, even when you're not as fired up as you normally are, if you still play solid defense, which they are, Duke is, it's still a 20-point game.
Here's an offensive foul away from the ball on Dale Davis. That will be his 3rd.
Frustration foul, obviously. We've mentioned that he's not getting the ball much. It's tough. Let's see what happens. Just trying to get free. It's one of the 8 ways at camp you teach him getting free. That's his is you just knock him in the throat, and generally the defender's eyes will tear, and you can get free.
It's very effective, especially when you don't get caught. Buckley with the point, and the crowd erupts.
Rick Pitino, incidentally, will be in the studio at Championship Week,
Yes,
and I wonder if he will bring his Wimp Sanderson jacket. Did you catch that?
No, I missed that one.
Yeah, a game against Alabama, he dressed like Wimp. He put on one of those
horse blankets with lapels.
He did.
It's hard to believe they still sell those. Colby Brown with a jumper won't go for it. Leitner tips it outside to McCaffrey.
So Rick rented the coat, and he had to get it back by following Thursday.
Well, the horse was running. 29 seconds on the shot clock. McCaffrey passed on the 3. Buckley has it knocked away. Here's the steal by Young. It's a 2-on-1 and tipped away by Hurley. And then he bounces it off the Clemson player out of bounds. I tell you, Beauvain just didn't have a chance.
That's great. Everything he did here was great. The anticipation on the 2-on-1, right? The bad pass. I mean, just telling the guy to throw it, right? And then the hustle, and then the intelligence. Oh, Mr. Hurley's happy back home. That's my boy, he said.
Tell you what, we could make about 10, 15-second videotapes so far, and you'd have your own clinic. 41-19. Duke plays for the last shot of the half.
Generally, they run a guy to the corner off a double here. If they don't get that, then Hurley goes off a pick and roll. Here comes the guy to the corner.
Hurley had it knocked away. That's kicked. It will go out of bounds to Duke with 4 seconds left.
I've seen that play many, many times. They've run that against us late in the game.
Well, even if you know it's coming and they're good enough and they run it well enough, it's tough to stop. 4 seconds on the clock. Nice speed to Buckley. He missed it. How appropriate on senior night for Buckley to get the last 2 points of the half.
Oh, I'll tell you, you'll remember this for a long time. The guy's away from the basketball. Buckley makes that hard cut, and he stays with it. Perfect tap.
Nice job by Clay Buckley. Duke dominates, leading at the half, 43-19.
ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball, Clemson versus Duke, is brought to you by Right Guard Sports Tip, antiperspirant and deodorant. Anything less would be uncivilized.
We're at halftime at Duke, where the Blue Devils have totally dominated the Clemson Tigers and lead at the half, 43-19. Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium, everybody. Mike Patrick along with Jim Valvano. Good to have you with us. Total domination by Duke at both ends of the court. And I think probably the most frustrating things for Clemson fans is they can always count on Dale Davis having a big night. He averages 18 points, 12 rebounds a game. He was invisible in the first half.
Mike, the poor young man, is just having trouble getting the ball. Look at him. He works so hard to get free. He says, I'm free right here. Give it to me. Give it to me. Okay. I'm free over here then. Give it to me over here. Well, one more time. When you play freshman guards, and Clemson has a lot of frosh out there, even when your big guy is free, you can't get him the ball. So he's frustrated. He had a frustration foul also late in the game.
Just to give you an example of what a tough night it's been for Davis, he has 1 point and 4 rebounds. Clay Buckley, who is playing tonight because it's senior night, has 4 points and 3 rebounds. He's out doing one of the finest rebounders in the country tonight.
It's been a perfect night for Duke. They came off an Arizona game we questioned early. Or I should say Mike questioned. He said, would they be ready to play? I said, of course they would. But really, they've come out and done exactly what they had to get ready for their next big game against Carolina.
Let's take a look at the first half stats. And as you might expect, Duke is dominating all those categories. And again, as we mentioned early, the turnover and points off turnovers totally in Duke's favor.
They did a clinic on defense, Duke. One thing that's always a constant with Duke, even if it doesn't appear, their offense is clicking, and that's their defense will get the job done.
And this is the best they have ever done this year, forcing 20.6 turnovers. They've always been up in that high area, and here's what they've done. Had the 7-0 run, then the 11-0 run. This is your theory, right?
My theory, which I've always felt that if you can dominate the first 5 minutes of each half and the last 5 minutes, those 20 minutes will get you a victory. Duke didn't just dominate it. They won that 18-0. They're up by 3 touchdowns.
43-19. And 20 minutes of basketball left from Cameron Indoor Stadium. The Blue Devils trying to go undefeated at home for the first time since 1986. 15-0 coming in, and Clemson immediately turns it over to start the second half.
That's when you know it's going to be a long night. You go over that pep talk at halftime. You say, let's get the first couple of buckets, you know, of the second half to get on a roll, and you bounce it off your own guy's foot.
Buckley won't go for it. Mulvane had a rebound playing forward at 6-1 tonight. Nice baseline drive. Ricky Jones, the senior from Pendleton, South Carolina.
It's an interesting thing. I always felt that when you were on the road, that if the home team had a lead, I'm not talking about a huge lead, any lead, you'd have an opportunity to get the first 2 buckets before they got back into it. And that really happened that time. They could have done it. Clemson could have had 2 hoops.
Early had the 3 and passed on it. Thomas Hill, pretty drive, and the foul.
The 3-point shot, or I should say the threat of it, has so changed the game that you see, look at guys, you run, you do things you're not supposed to do. You never would run by a shooter before. You'd run up to the shooter. Now you say, better not give the 3, and it just has opened up the game. It has been the biggest change in the game in, I know, the 23 years that I was in coaching.
And to me, Jim, the under 6'4" guard was in danger of disappearing from college basketball.
There's no doubt about it. Has just made the floor now is bigger. It's a bigger game. Everybody forces out. They go out to stop the 3-point shot.
3-point play for Hill. In fact, think of it. Would you have gone after Corciani and Monroe if there had not been a 3-point shot?
Yes. You're looking at one of them.
They're exceptions.
That's right. They're exceptions. Any rule, they're going to be good. It just made them more effective. It made Chris so much more effective because you had to guard him out there. What it's done is it's made the spacing in basketball today. It's made us have to have better spacing.
Another turnover. Hurley, boy, tough pass. He really threw that one into the crowd trying to hit Thomas Hill. Players up by 25, tend to get a little lax. Cross-court pass. Kubek commits the foul, going for the steal. That's his 3rd. Take a look at the Atlantic Coast Conference standings. Duke and Carolina, of course, Duke's record will go to 10-3. Carolina plays Georgia Tech tomorrow night, and if they win, then they will go for the championship against each other this weekend. If North Carolina should lose, then, of course, they're playing for a tie.
That's right. There's certainly no gimme against Bobby Crimmins. Whenever you got Kenny Anderson on the floor, a lot of good things can happen.
Davis touching it for one of the rare times and partially blocked but followed.
Well, that's what he does, though. That's why he's got to have the ball. He's so strong, he can carry up there with it. He needs to get the ball more.
46-23. Clemson trying to extend its defense a little bit. Buckley has it knocked away. Knocks it back on his way in, and then the foul is called on Mason. You talked about spacing a moment ago. The Nevada, they called a foul on Buckley. They came up and indicated that it was on Mason. I didn't see how he could have committed the foul. He was the one that was wrong. You talked about spacing. The Las Vegas game the other night. I have never seen spacing quite that exquisite. It's like they drew spots on the floor and just went to it. Hurley has to pull up. Kubek has the 3s. Missed a couple in a row. Missed that one, too. Leitner really wrenched himself going for that offensive rebound. A little slow to get down court. Donnell Bruce, baseline drive. Dumps it off, and Jones with a jam.
He not only jammed, he let the crowd know, and this is not the crowd to do that, too. They come right back at you.
46-25 with 17:09 to go in the game. Now, if you're up 46-25 as Leitner gets the roll on the jumper, what are you trying to tell your kids to do? You're trying to keep them intense?
What you're trying to do more than anything is to stay within the framework of your game. You want to run your offense. Duke runs its passing game. It's high-low post offense. They want to run that way. They want us to keep the intensity on defense. And those are not easy things to do. I mean, it's not that easy.
Davis, a little stutter step, got the jam. That's the, what?
Third dunk that they've got. It happens so often in games. You'll see a blowout in the first half. Second half, it goes kind of even Steven, and you still win by 25. And it drives coaches crazy. You want to see it go 2 halves that way.
Hurley clobbered on the way in. Clemson got its money's worth on that foul. Called on Donnell Bruce.
Bobby Hurley, one of the good penetrating point guards in the country, and certainly gets hammered.
Number 4 on the all-time assist list and averaging 7.6 assists for a career, which will certainly be a new record. The Tommy Amaker, now an assistant coach, once set. You go around breaking people like Amaker's records, you're doing something.
Hey, I feel like Bobby's been here forever, and he's only a sophomore, right? There's Tommy Amaker right there, who's a terrific guard, and he's coaching his brains out now. You get the suit. As soon as you get the suit on, and, you know, you just start coaching.
He's telling Clay Buckley how to seal off inside, you know?
Here's how I used to do it, Clay.
50-27. 5 points for Bobby Hurley. Cliff Ellis has tried every guard imaginable to find somebody who can withstand the pressure. Davis is touching the ball in the first 5 minutes here more than he has the entire first half.
But Leitner has forced him so far away from the basket. You've got to either come get a back pick, some kind of screen. He's got to get closer to the down on the blocks. He's so far away.
Dale does not have 18-foot range.
No.
14th turnover for the Clemson Tigers. Hill and Leitner exchange. Boy, tried for the tough pass to Grant Hill, who freed himself in the lane momentarily. 15:39 to go. We've got a timeout on the court. 50-27 Blue Devils. Duke at home leading 50-27. We talked about Duke's incoming recruiting class. How about Clemson?
There we go. This is why Cliff Ellis is smiling. He's got 6'10" Sharon Wright from Macon, Georgia. And watch what this young man can do. Right over the head for a dunk. Get that out of here. And if I did it once, let's do it again. And now he shows it's got, he also gets the crowd fired up. So Cliff Ellis knows he's going to have some strength around the basket next year. They will be back.
And Buckingham coming back. Young man who's 6'8", 250. Grant Hill to Thomas Hill. Reverse won't go. Tipped by Grant Hill won't go.
You know what's nice about that, though, Mike? They, at a timeout, they came with a set play from the sidelines, and they really ran it and executed it well. That's good, even though the ball didn't go in.
Harris being dogged by Hurley. 5-second call.
Hurley's having a nice night defensively from the three-point line out to midcourt. I mean, he's just by himself, causing all kinds of problems.
Some other scores of interest around the country, the Big 8 particularly. I think the best job I ever saw Bobby Hurley do defensively was earlier this year against Kenny Anderson. I mean, he was superb.
Velcro. He had Velcro on his shirt. They put it in his locker.
I think Leitner sprained an ankle or something. He went down. May have landed on somebody else's foot. And you know, all Mike Krzyzewski is thinking, get up, be fine.
Please.
Come on.
That's right.
Crawford Palmer will come in for him.
Let's see what happened here.
Crawford Palmer replacing Christian Leitner in the Duke lineup.
Looked like he may have been kicked in the foot by Steve Harris or stepped on Harris, one or the other. Ooh. Tough to tell. But they seem to walk off the court not in too much pain. The numbers on Leitner for the night. to sort out what happened. I guess it was a jump ball situation. We have to look at the possession arrow for it. Here we are on the opposite side of the court from the possession arrow. They're talking about the shot clock.
And here are the two coaches. You're not allowed to talk to one coach without the other one being there. And Lenny comes in. Lenny works. He'll handle it.
Lenny's had a lot of these over his career.
And he's talking mostly to Cliff, which means it's not going to go Cliff's way. That's the way that works.
Is that right?
Or if they talk to you, you don't want them to talk to you. You like them to talk to the other guy, right? And agree with him. Seeing that pat on the back.
They have reset the shot clock, we understand, at 45 seconds. Right now, it is at 37.
I think what Cliff was asking is, could he take 8 minutes off the game clock? Is what he was looking for.
Would have been a good thought. There's 14:56 to go. He's down by 23 at Duke. Hurley had the three and passed on it. A nice move to get three, then dumped it off. He's fouled before the shot. Pointing at Harris, who will pick up his third personal.
Clemson foul number 13.
Laettner redoing the equipment.
Team foul number 3.
Hill somehow avoided walking. Duke being very patient right here. Palmer, nice dish to Hill. He missed the shot, got his own rebound.
Mike, they worked so hard for that. They kept getting that flash pivot down low, a screen at high post, which is the most dangerous place for the basketball to be against any defense, and that's straight up top.
Big time screen outside by Ricky Jones. Major league screen. Hurley felt like he ran into a wall, but that was the 16th turnover.
So we do some coaching here, right? If you draw vertical lines on the court, any pass that's thrown on that vertical line is the most difficult pass to get weak side help. And even that crosses the line towards the basket is the kind of pass that gets stolen. What Duke was working was that vertical line pass, still trying to get it, right? If you throw it from where he is, you can get that stolen.
Hurley for three, Davis with a rebound. I'm still working on which way is vertical.
Well,
you need smarter students than me. The block by Grant Hill. Davis trying to dribble through trouble. Hill. Oh, what a move. Gee whiz.
See, but I know all our viewers at ESPN, and we're looking at the smartest and the brightest basketball fans in the land.
It's just the announcers you have to worry about. 54-27. Davis double team down low. Missed.
That's what I was talking about. That pass came across it, and you see the help.
Hurley, alley-oop. Oh, what another dish. Pretty pass. Brian Davis gets the bucket, but Grant Hill the greatest assist. I think we have entered showtime with 12:59 to go in the game. Timeout on the court. Duke 56. Clemson 27. 56-27 Duke, and it's time for another theory, Coach.
You know, it's the first time we've worked together. I'm trying to give you all the theories. The team with the most suits wins. Check it out. Look at the jackets and ties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 14 jackets and ties.
For Duke.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. They're just, it looks like a bankers convention. On the other side, Cliff Ellis only has 3 suits on the bench, and he doesn't even have a jacket on.
So the most suits win.
Most suits always wins. It's a rule.
When did you think this stuff up?
Well, when you lose it all.
Davis with a jam.
Trying to find out how to win. I decided we had to get more suits on the bench.
12 minutes, 35 seconds to go.
There's the pass they're looking for.
Palmer had inside position.
They're working hard on it. I'm saying they're really working hard on getting that pass from the top of the key down.
Tipped out of bounds. Young got a hand on it. Shot clock's at 22.
That kind of answers what you talked about before. What are you trying to do? Mike Krzyzewski saying, let's work on a particular aspect of our offense. They've done that. Now I just saw that he called something else out, his fist play, which is a little bit different. So he's trying to call things out that he did not want, I guarantee you.
No, the off-balance 12-foot runner was not, I don't think that's a set play. Harris again loaded Davis. They've been getting Davis open. He's fouled this time. Once again, straight in vertical pass.
That's right.
I'm learning.
Now you got it.
I'm learning.
That's why that works.
Women's Kemper Open from Waialae in Maui.
You like that?
Let's go out and cover that.
I know you did the football out there.
Yeah. First round, 4 o'clock Eastern. Hope you'll be with us as we continue to bring you PGA, LPGA, Seniors Tour. Some great golf coverage on ESPN. The foul was on Crawford Palmer, his 3rd. No better place in the world to play golf than Hawaii. Even if you play lousy, you're having a great time.
Won't be too long before I get my sticks out. That's right. Go tour all over the country, playing in every freebie I can find. There's a whole cult out there who go to all these wonderful free events.
Welcome up to Washington. We'll have a 4-man tournament.
Is it for free?
Certainly is.
I'll be there.
56-29. Clemson has hit the 30-point mark with 12:03 to go in the ballgame.
Great philosopher Abe Lemons once told me when I was a young head coach, he said, don't ever hire an assistant coach who has golf clubs. And I never knew what he meant back then, but then as I got a little older, I understood exactly what he was talking about.
If Abe Lemons had been a stand-up comic, the man would have had about $20 million in the bank by now. He's the funniest human being I ever heard.
And unfortunately, when you are that humorous, some people don't think you're as good a coach, and that's not true. And Abe's getting, you betcha. Wonderful man.
Comes Young on a run. Davis. Ooh, quick call on Crawford Palmer, his 4th.
But since Davis has been getting the ball, he's been doing good things.
Yes, he has. This wasn't much of a foul.
But Dale Davis gets it, that high post, right? Fakes, right? Fake right, go right. Little foul there somewhere, I'm sure. We're really high up here sometimes. See him getting the ball? Look at him. All right, he's doing some things.
And you get the ball, you get your interest back, too. Young, 3-pointer.
And you go inside, opens things outside, because Davis drew 4 Duke players. You wonder, where was that the first half?
Well, you know, that's what Cliff Ellis is asking. Young with 13 points tonight. 56-34. Buckley. Tip by Hill. Hill again. Another tip by Lang. Lang puts it up again and missed. And here comes Clemson out with a basketball.
I heard your shooting percentage. That was an 0 for 8 trip down the court.
Nice fake. Basket and a foul.
Basket counts by Ricky Jones.
Nice job by Ricky Jones, who's had a good second half.
What is nice to see, though, is that Clemson is playing hard this half.
Sure is.
They really came out and given it their best effort.
Would be easy to quit.
Oh, very easy. It's your last road game. Get on that bus, get back home. So you have senior day.
That's right. Clemson on a 9-0 run in the last 2 minutes and 12 seconds. They've cut the lead down to 20. Free throw won't go.
Duke student body employing the ever-popular alternate jump row distraction move, which is very effective, especially when you can't shoot from it.
Here's Lang, clobbered by Ricky Jones on the way in. Looked like a good block, but got him with the body. Well, guess what's just around the corner? If we're playing golf, it's got to be Major League Baseball. Opening day, Houston against Cincinnati at 2 o'clock Eastern, April 8th. Only about 5 weeks away. Then Milwaukee and Texas, 8 o'clock Eastern.
And who do you root for? What's your baseball? I'm a Yankee fan. Grew up in New York.
St. Louis Cardinals,
but
they've gone south for the decade, I believe.
Well, the Yankees haven't exactly been. What I liked about St. Louis, I actually went to a game there. Met Whitey Herzog, but right across the street from the stadium is what? The Bowling Hall of Fame. Did you know that? You didn't know that?
No.
Yes, it is. So you're not really a St. Louis guy if you don't know that. The Bowling Hall of Fame, right next door.
Hey, I remember Billy Golubieski.
That's right.
Sure.
You know Carmen Salvino?
Certainly. I remember all these guys.
Billy Waylu? Mm-hmm. Ooh, nice pass.
Clemson has come to life here. David Young with the jam.
Who's the great bowler from St. Louis, you should know.
Dick Weber. They used to have the Budweiser team.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Sure.
Nelson Burton Jr.
That's right. Here's the steal. Tigers trying to put some life in this game. A nice move by David Young, and he's fouled by McCaffrey. Or Hurley, excuse me. Where does the emotion come from all of a sudden?
Well, incidentally, what we are seeing, though, is a lot of basic basketball. We're seeing pick and roll. We just saw post back door. We're seeing a lot of good stuff, even though Duke's got him by 20.
Timeout on the court. 10:19 to go. Duke 58, Clemson 38.
In the Big 8, Oklahoma State's going to close out the season unbeaten. Nebraska was pressing, but in the late going, Cornell Hatcher gets the outlet. Darwin Alexander, the layup and the foul in the final minute now. The Cowboys leading the Sooners by a score of 74-63. Let's go back now to Mike and Jim at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Thanks very much, Chris. And to show you the frustration of the night, Clemson had the basketball out of bounds, and they had to take a timeout or lose the ball in a 5-second count. It's getting bad again.
Might want to just throw that one in and get it going a little bit.
Sure. You down by 20, what's one more turnover, right?
Oh, boy.
Duke at home, winning by an average of nearly 24 points a game, holding opponents to under 42% and forcing 22.3 turnovers a game.
I'll give you another little known fact, but Cameron Indoor Stadium happens to be the configuration is the same as what other facility in the ACC. You've been in all of them.
Coliseum.
That's right. You knew that.
One was built off the plans for the other, I believe.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because when Everett Case came to North Carolina State from Indiana, he said, I want a big arena. And they built one that was big. He said, no, that's not big enough. And that's why it's such an odd building in Reynolds Coliseum, because the way Duke is exactly the way State is. But then when they tried to get more seats, they had to make it longer. Like a bowling alley, which we're talking about. And that's how he got his 13,000 seats in it. A little known fact.
That's good. How long is a bowling alley? I'll get you on this one.
It's 8 hands long. Or that's a horse. That's how high a horse is.
60 feet.
Is it really? It's 60 feet.
Foul on Antonio Lang. Excuse me, no. Foul was on Ricky Jones. That's his 4th. And the stats tonight are very, very close to what Duke has normally done at home all year long. Clemson would have needed something of a miracle coming in here tonight. With Dale Davis touching the ball like twice in the first half, they certainly weren't going to get it. McCaffrey for 3, short, long rebound. McCaffrey's got it, stripped on the way out. 3-on-1. Not a good-looking fast break, but they do get the basket.
And 2 points. And what is good-looking is they're in the game. Cliff Ellis is in the game. And his kids, when you get back to calling the timeout, things like that. They are doing the best they can.
One of the Clemson players goes down hard, and it's Young. An action away from the ball. A young man who has had 17 points tonight. And all Cliff Ellis can be thinking is, what next? What can possibly happen? We have 9:43 left to go in the game as they attend to Young. It looks like they're working on an eye, maybe poked.
You got it. That's what happened. He got poked in the eye. Hopefully he will be able to return.
Gets a nice hand as well. He should. He's played a fine game tonight. And they're not taking him to the locker room. That's a good sign, too. They're putting him on the end of the bench. Hurley, McCaffrey.
McCaffrey wanted a foul, too. Shooters are always begging.
Aren't they? 60-40 with 9:25 to go. Burks, the freshman, back in there, along with Andre Beauvain. Tough running left-hander by Burks to follow. Let's see if it counts. It does, and Davis will draw the foul. Big different? What is the difference? I mean, Davis been so much more active in this half.
I think two things. Number one is he came out and is moving more. But number two, the offense is now geared to get it to him more early on. You remember Clemson was trying to spread the floor, get some penetration. They wanted to slow Duke down. That didn't work. So at halftime, the adjustment that Cliff Ellis made said, hey, let's go to our horse. Let's get the ball to our best player. And they are playing better. And hopefully it's something they can build on for their last home games. They only got one game left, and they're not going to any tournaments.
As a coach, there are so many things to think about. Is it sometimes easy to lose sight of something that might be obvious like that?
You know, I don't want to say this, because I'm not supposed to mention these things, but we used to feel that every once in a while, we'd say, hey, you know something, afterwards, I went a little brain dead myself in that game. Yeah, you do. You get caught up in some things. But the one thing we always know is the fans will see it for us. And especially the writers.
Yeah, you can read about it in the paper.
There's no question. They'll see it.
Score 62-42 with 8:48 to go. The foul was on Buckley, his third. The senior out of Wayne, Pennsylvania, playing his last home game. Thomas Hill will check back into the ball game, and out comes Brian Davis. Sports Center comes up after our telecast. Dan Patrick and Bob Lee will be along. NBA scores and highlights, the latest controversy with UNLV and Jerry Tarkanian. The things coming out about more NCAA things coming up. Major League Baseball spring training news. And we'll have to throw in some bowling for everybody.
I'm sure there'll be more Vegas stuff.
Yeah.
Is that probably the things you're saying were some of the incidentals on recruiting visits?
I think so.
I mean, that's not even, when I'm talking Lloyd Daniels, this is one in between.
Yeah, this is
throwing one in between the next one.
I think this is just to get everybody primed for the Lloyd Daniels investigation. Hill, three won't go. Davis with the rebound.
You know what could happen is what happened at Syracuse. They have to declare them eligible and petition to get them eligible again.
Yeah.
That was one of the quickest eligible
Wasn't it, though? At least the procedures are getting a little quicker. 10 rebounds for Dale Davis tonight. This is Harris to Davis. Boy, night and day in the difference in the offense and Dale Davis second half. 62-44. Davis has 13, and we're under 8 minutes. Clemson has also stepped up the defensive pressure this second half. Hurley, nice drive, dumps it off to McCaffrey. The little guys get it done inside.
Penetration, regardless of what the defense is playing. If you can penetrate a defense, good things are going to happen for the offensive club.
Young will try a three. Excuse me, Beauvain.
See, what Beauvain did is something I think distracts shooters. You see how he looked down to see where his feet were?
Yeah.
They check. Am I behind the three or not? He can't shoot that. He really can't. You just got to stroke it.
Seen so many guys who have taken a shot with a toe on the line where it would have been a three-point. It was only a two-point basket. And the smarter players, the more experienced players, they know where that line is. Buckley was open. Hurley didn't want to go that way. There's a little dangerous pass, a long way across court. Shot clock at 6. Crowd helping him. And a foul. Not a smart play by Harris as the shot clock was down to 5.
And the crowd did help him, because whenever the shot clock is going down, any ball club in America, whether it's high school, I don't care where you're playing, pros, you know what you got to do? You got to drive to the basket. Whenever time's running out, order in the shot clock, you got to drive to the basket. If you don't have that guy, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Clemson doesn't have that.
That's
guy.
right.
See, and Duke can play a slower pace, a quicker pace, because they have Hurley, who's going to drive it to the basket.
Leitner checks back into the game. Hurley will try for a three and got it. Oklahoma State a winner tonight against Nebraska. 80-69.
What a job. Both those guys, and Danny Nee for Nebraska and Eddie Sutton, took a sabbatical.
Who would have thought the day would have come when we would be interested in 2 or 3 Big 8 scores, huh?
Oh, and they've done, I think those coaches in Kansas, and oh, a bad pass.
Nice steal. And the jam by Steve Harris.
Kansas, Oklahoma State, Colorado, Nebraska. Those coaches have done a marvelous job in that league.
67-46, under 6 minutes. Leitner with a patented move to the lane. Does he get to roll every time or what?
It's senior night here. It's your last game.
It's not his.
I know, but it's senior night. Those things happen. That thing hit about 9 times.
Leitner goes for the steal, picked off by Hurley. He's got McCaffrey on his left. Not a good decision. Could have dumped all. Offensive foul on Bobby Hurley.
Lenny works.
That's 2 on Bobby. I'd have to see the replay to believe that one.
I think Lenny said, I think it's time I get some folks angry with me tonight. Let's see. Here he comes. Nice steal. He comes in.
I don't think so. I like Lenny an awful lot, but I don't think so. 69-46. Jones Young is back in the game after that earlier eye injury. Harris to Young. Jones working hard to get free underneath. Davis kicks it back outside instead. Shot clock at 10.
Here's the time we're talking. If you can't penetrate, you see you wind up doing that. Now, hey, went in. That's nice. But, you know, that's because he couldn't get by the guy.
Burks buries the three-pointer. You're right. That's not the way you want to do it.
You're going to have to throw that. He reminds me a lot of Grayson Marshall, who was such a fine player. Clemson's left-hander, same kind of moves.
Hill, boy, he gets a great couple of steps. He's going full speed and slashes in there. 71-49. Well, it's time to pad the stats now with 4:24 left. May have been earlier. Harris lost it on the way in.
Returning for the Blue Devils, number 33,
Grant Hill will come back in, the freshman from Ruston, Virginia.
We are also at that time of the year. It's going to be interesting on, you know, the infamous bubble. Whoever started that term, you know, the bubble. Who's on the bubble? Who's not? How many teams from each conference is? Try another 3 of them get in there. I think because of Kentucky not being able to go, Illinois can't go, Missouri can't go. You're seeing. I tried the other day, Mike, on a plane to pick 64. I had trouble getting to 64. So you're going to take a look like the ACC. Yeah, they're all in. The Big East, Georgetown.
Questionable.
I mean, if you take away 4 wins against non-Division I, they only get 12 wins.
Right.
Could you imagine anybody getting in with 12? But they'll get in. Georgetown, they'll get in anyway. But part of it's because, hey, you start counting. You can't find 64. It's not easy this year.
Big Ten, really Ohio State and Indiana class of that league a little down after that, but Michigan State, they've been a major disappointment.
Last year, the Big Ten had 7, count them, 7. This year, that's the best they're going to get. The other part because of Illinois, the Big Eight we've already mentioned, I think having a great year. If Colorado could have just put a few back-to-back in the end, maybe Joe Harrington go the Big West. Not there. And once again, the champion will come out of the Big West.
Yeah, that's right.
But New Mexico State has also had a terrific year.
Hill makes the second free throw, 73-49. We'll run down some other conferences for you in a moment. I just got to tell you, I was the first time I've had a chance to see Vegas in person the other night against New Mexico State. A team that had won nearly 30 in a row on its home court, had a great record, got some fine athletes. We got excited when they got within 10.
I know. What's interesting, too, about the game is how Vegas can get a spurt on you. Like it's down to 6, and then it's back to 12.
Like the old Celtics, your history. 3:55 to go. 73-49, Duke. Duke by 24 with 3:55 to go in the game. These two guys went to high school together. Is that right?
Yeah, I met him before the game. He's a stadium official here. And look at this. Who do you think's older? He's had a tough life. I'm older than this guy, which proves being a stadium official is more difficult than coaching basketball. I mean, that's unbelievable. He went to Seaford High School in Long Island. One of the nice things, though, all of the stadium officials and the people who work here, you know what they do with their paychecks? What? They give it to charity.
That's nice.
Isn't that something? They give all of the money that Duke pays them to work the games, and they give it to various charities.
Well, that's wonderful. Leitner now has 17. The league has grown to 26.
And I told that gentleman if he saw you after the game, you might be willing to give your check for tonight to charity.
I'll give mine if you give yours. We'll be right there. Sports Center comes up right after our telecast. Dan Patrick and Bob Lee. And we'll update you on everything that's going on. NBA, another controversy around UNLV that we brought out the other night. And spring training news from Major League Baseball. The boys of summer getting ready to crank it up.
I get my spring training news from Dick Vitale. Dick down there in Bradenton. He tells me what's going on in the world of baseball.
Dick loves baseball.
Yes, and he goes to all he tells you who's going here, who's looking for money here, and what's going on. He knows it all. I'm telling you, he could do a baseball column.
Well, we'd all like to get one of their checks. I know that. The money in baseball is staggering. Bodies go flying.
4 or 5 million. That's why Palmer's back.
I quit when I was 17. I'm thinking about coming back.
I played shortstop.
Grant Hill, Thomas Hill.
I'd rather do one of those commercials that Palmer does. But
oh, yeah. You could, I couldn't. Davis. Blocked inside as Buckley tried to get a little jump hook going. Kubek for 3. Young pulls up for a 19-footer and buried it. Young's had an outstanding night. 19 points off the bench.
Pokes in the eye, comes back, knocks into Jay.
75-52. And as you said earlier, Clemson has really played with some fire here in the second half. That's done a lot of good on the scoreboard. It will make that long trip home a little easier.
And it makes the coach feel a heck of a lot better, and they should feel, better about it too. And hopefully, you can pull an upset in your last game. Fans come out your building, everybody's excited. Georgia Tech coming to town.
Harris had it rejected by Hill. Good defense on both ends of the court. Nice move by Hill. Oh, that was pretty.
Isn't that nice footwork? What a great spin move that is. So solid. Fundamentals.
Grant Hill with 15 at 77-52 as we approach the 2-minute mark.
How about if Duke wins it and Clemson has to face them in the first round of the AC Tour? They've lost them by 29. In the 20s again.
And we've got a foul underneath. That's going to be called on Clay Buckley. That will be his 4th. Well, they're either going to have to face Duke again or North Carolina, which is not going to be a picnic for them either way. Triple header tomorrow on ESPN. 5th-ranked Indiana against Michigan State as the Big Ten season winds down. That's at 7 o'clock. And then North Carolina trying to keep pace with Duke. They'll play against Georgia Tech at 9 o'clock. And then number 7 Arizona against Oregon State. That's an 11:30 Eastern start. All tomorrow night on ESPN. Long night for Cliff Ellis. Long season after last year's glory.
And as all coaches, he'll start the day after they put the balls away and starting to figure out how we can turn this thing back around next year.
Bet you don't miss that part.
I'll tell you, I miss the locker room. I really miss the locker room. I miss being in the locker room with the kids. I miss the pregame talk. I miss getting all fired up. Newt Rockne talk number 39. I really do. And then I miss the band playing, the cheerleaders doing backflips. I don't miss the losing.
I could imagine.
And I do miss the winning.
Grant Hill went down hard after he almost hit a spectacular layup. Here is Jones, and the officials are doing a real nice thing here. Unless somebody gets nailed, they are letting the clock run.
And they know it's seniors, so they know Kubek's a senior. It's senior day. It's going to be the last time they suit up. And I picked up the mail today, opened it up, and it's going to be my 24th college reunion. I cannot believe, I'm not talking high school. 24. Next year will be 25 years since I've played my last game.
Buckley coming out of the ball game gets a standing ovation here at home. 6 points, 5 rebounds. Not a bad night.
He had a very solid night. He played a good basketball game. And I'm sure if Kubek can knock this one down, we may see another sub if there's no one at the bench. So I guess Mike feels he's going to be able to get him out.
Kubek has been a very valuable performer for this club this year. Best free throw shooter they have, and they've got some great ones too.
Now he's going to try and get Kubek out so he can get his standing up. We once won a game when I was in college, and the bus came back. We came off, and they all gave us a big hand. So I got out and went back again on the back, opened the back door, got on again. Got 2 hands.
Kubek committed the personal foul. That will be his 5th. He'll foul out with 58 seconds to go. And leave with 8 points. Standing ovation for Greg Kubek. And that's it for seniors, folks.
That's the good news.
That's it.
Mike doesn't have to hug anybody else today because they're all back. Greg Kubek had a very nice career. It really is a special night for kids. Their last
Must
game.
be. What a good night for David Young, who hits the free throw and has 20 points on the night, only averaging 10.9. Got a real good scoring streak since the first of the year. And he will get 3. This is one of the rule changes this year. Foul somebody beyond the line, you get 3 free throws. I like it.
Yes, it is a good rule, and it also allows us to use another hockey term, the hat trick. Either make all 3 or miss all 3.
No.
What I'm looking for is a term for when you only make 2 or you miss. Ooh.
Young comes outside, buries the jumper. I guess maybe it's a stick save.
I'm telling you, we got to have something. We need terminology. See, football's got great terminology. Basketball needs more terminology.
23 for Young. Here's a turnover, and Young very unselfishly gives it up. They drop it back to Jones, and he gets the bucket. Now, the Tigers have fought very hard here in the second half. This is Marty Clark in for the first time. Tries. Grant Hill almost made a sensational catch of a bad pass.
You'll have to get mugged now to have the refs know that was. Oh!
Jones gets the basket and fouled in the air. We've both been burned on this.
They're always trying to make me look bad, these refs.
Ricky Jones, the graduate student, makes the basket to cut it to 79-60.
Hey, Sports Center's coming up next. Mike, with Dan Patrick and Bob Lee.
No relation.
We have enough Patricks up there, I'll tell you.
The network of the Patricks, and none of us with the same blood, unfortunately. 16 seconds to go. You'll look in the paper tomorrow and see an 18-point spread. Game hasn't been in doubt since it was 7-0. Davis. Colby Brown with a rebound. And Clemson, fittingly enough, turns it over on the last play of the game. Well, what did you see tonight from Duke that impressed you?
What I saw from Duke is a club that lost a very difficult game on the road and came back and showed no signs of a club not ready to end their season on a high note. That can happen so easily, Mike. You can come and take 7-8 minutes before you get going. The coach has to rave, throw a towel, kick a chair. Didn't happen. Duke is a veteran team, even though they're young. And they came right out and they put the game away early.
Can they be a factor again in the NCAA?
I think, as I said, as long as there's a Meadowlands, as long as there's a state of New Jersey, right, Duke will always have a hope to go back to the Final Four.
All right, final score here from Cameron Indoor. Duke 79, Clemson 62. Stay tuned for SportsCenter for our entire ESPN crew and Jim Valvano. This is Mike Patrick. Good night, everybody.
ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball, Clemson versus Duke, is brought to you by Ford Motor Company, where quality is job one. By Payne Weber, we believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships. By Budweiser, the king of beers, with a clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. And by Anderson Windows, come home to quality.